So let's see how to prepare this lovely Gobi dal. Now here I've taken one small gobi or cabbage, washed it well, and I've chopped it up really fine like this. Next I've soaked about 1/4 cup of chana dal in about half a cup of water for about 30 minutes after washing it well. This is one light green chili. Now from my spice box I'm going to use half a teaspoon each of mustard, cumin, asafoetida and turmeric, and we require some salt and a pinch of sugar, that's all. So now I'm going to heat a pan and I'm going to add about 1 tablespoon of oil. Now this is a very simple vegetable and it cooks really quickly and it tastes really nice with the chana dal added to it. So now I've drained the water from the chana dal completely and I'm going to set it aside. You'll see that it kind of swells up a bit. Now once the oil is nice and hot, we're going to add our mustard seeds, half a teaspoon. Once the mustard seeds begin to splutter, we're going to use half a teaspoon of cumin seeds. Add half a teaspoon of cumin seeds. We're going to add the light green chili and fry it well. Now the reason for frying the chili really well is that it flavors the oil really nicely. So ensure that you always fry the chili really well till it has this kind of a white coating on it. Now the flame is low to medium. Next, I'm going to add half a teaspoon of asafoetida or hinga, as well as half a teaspoon of turmeric or haldi powder. So there's no ginger, there's no garlic, there's no onion. It's a very simple recipe. So if you have all these ingredients at hand and you have your spice box ready, this is a really quick and easy recipe. And it tastes delicious too. So now I'm going to add this soaked chana dal, and I'm going to fry the chana dal really nicely. So take your time with the chana dal and fry it really well for at least half a minute or so. Now when you're buying your cabbage, ensure that the cabbage it looks nice and fresh, and always go for the smaller cabbages. Don't go for the very big ones. Go for the smaller cabbages. They have more flavor. And when you're buying them, check the leaves and always soak your cabbage in water to which salt has been added for about 15 to 20 minutes, and then take out the outer leaves. I generally do not use the outer leaves, and then wash the cabbage well, and then cut it up really fine like this without using the center part, the stalk part. Discard the white stalk part. So now I'm going to add the cabbage to our bagar or fodni, and I'm going to mix the cabbage in really well so that it nicely gets coated with all of the ingredients of our bagar. Now you should include these veggies in your daily diet. Try to have a little bit of vegetables also if you're a non-vegetarian. And of course, if you're a vegetarian, then the sky is the limit. There's so many vegetarian dishes that you can make, and they're so healthy too. So I've got an entire playlist of all vegetarian dishes, so you can go and check that out in my playlist section on my homepage. And I got a list of vegetarian dishes, so you can include some vegetable in your diet. So now we're going to cover and cook this for 5 minutes, stirring in between. And whenever you get this water on your lid, just retain the water or add it back to the cabbage and then mix it up well. Keep an eye on the vegetables that it doesn't stick to the bottom or doesn't get burnt. So keep stirring it in between, but ensure that it cooks really nicely. So at least about 5 minutes, this vegetable cooks really fast. So for 5 minutes, cook it really nicely. So this dal element also adds a lovely, kind of a flavor and texture to this vegetable. So cook it nicely. Keep stirring it in between so that it doesn't stick to the bottom, and also that everything gets evenly cooked. Now once our cabbage is cooked, which takes about 5 minutes, not longer than that. Once the cabbage is cooked, we're just going to add our salt to taste, and then I also like to add a pinch of sugar because that really brings out the flavor in the dish. So just a pinch of sugar. And that's all, friends. We don't need any more ingredients for this dish. It's so simple, but yet it's really delicious. And then, of course, mix everything nicely well together. Keep stirring it in between. That way, everything gets evenly cooked. and everything gets nicely mixed together also. So certain vegetables you just like need to just cover and cook them, but certain vegetables you need to just stir in between or stir a little longer so that you get it nicely cooked. And then we're just going to cover and cook it for just 1 minute on a low to medium flame. And that's it, friends. Turn off the heat and your Kobe dal is all ready. So I hope you do give this recipe a try. Do leave your comments in the comment section below. And
Hi friends, this is Akshata here with yet another quick and delicious recipe. Today I'm going to show you how to make batatacha katsria. It's a very simple, very quick recipe and one of our favorites at our place. Now here I've taken 2 medium-sized potatoes and just washed them well and sliced them into thin slices like this along with the skin. Then you require some oil heating up in a pan. Once my oil is hot, first we'll go in 1 teaspoon of mustard seeds or mori. Now that they have begun to splutter, it will be followed by 1 teaspoon of cumin powder seeds or jeera, 1 teaspoon of asafoetida or ghee, 1 teaspoon of chili powder, a few curry leaves, and now just put in your potatoes, give them a good mix. And now we're going to cover them and cook them for at least 10 minutes by stirring in between. Now we will stir this in between. You have to use a little more than normal oil for this recipe because actually it is just fried potatoes with some spices. So here I've used, instead of about 1 tablespoon, I've used about 2 tablespoons of cooking oil. So we'll again cover this and cook it till our potatoes are a little bit done and a little on the light brown side. So now after another 3 minutes, we'll take this out. You can see that the potatoes have started to turn a little light brown. So now they are a little bit fried. If you press any one potato, it will easily break into 2 pieces. You can check that it's done. Now it's time to add some spices. So I'm going to first put in some red chili powder. I'm using about 1.5 teaspoon. If you want it less spicy, use just about 1 teaspoon. So again we'll fry this. Now add our seasoning, some salt to taste. And here I'd like to give you one tip, that it's always better to add, a little less salt than more, because if you have less salt, then when a person is eating this vegetable or bhaji, you can always add salt. But if you add lots of salt to your food and it becomes very salty, then it spoils the entire taste of the dish. So always go a little easy on the salt. And there's just a little bit of sugar, just a pinch of sugar. again fry this. And again we'll cover this and cook it for another 1 minute. Now remember to do this on a slow to medium flame, not on a high flame. And now you can turn off your gas, and all you have to do is just garnish this with some lots and lots of fresh coriander. Now here I have just taken out the potatoes and left back the oil, because this does require a little more oil. And here it is, friends, the amazing katsria. It's really delicious. It's a Maharashtrian speciality. You can have this with puri, chapati. It's just delicious. So I hope you try out this recipe. If you like this recipe, please give it a big thumbs up by clicking on the thumbs up icon. Please subscribe to my channel by pressing the red subscribe button that you see just below this video. This is Akshata saying bye until another video. Take care. See ya.
So for today's recipe, I've taken 1 tablespoon of oil in my pan or vessel. Now I've cut the pumpkin into these small cubes. After peeling it, I'll explain to you how I prepped the pumpkin. Now once our oil is nice and hot, I'm going to add half a teaspoon of mustard seeds or mohuri or rye. Once the mustard seeds start to splutter, I'm going to add half a teaspoon of cumin seeds or jeera. Then immediately I'm going to add half a teaspoon of hinga or asafoetida, followed by half a teaspoon of haldi powder or turmeric powder. Then I'm going to add half a teaspoon of fenugreek seeds or methi seeds. This really adds a lovely flavor to this recipe. And then I'm going to add the pumpkin. Now this is about a quarter kilo of pumpkin. Mix everything really well together. Now I'll explain to you as to how I prepared the pumpkin. So first I washed the pumpkin really well. Then I peeled the peel off the pumpkin, which is a hard cover. So use a nice peeler or a knife. Then I've retained the seeds. What I do is I just wash the seeds well and then dry them up in the sun and just roast them a little bit with on a little bit of ghee and eat them. They're very delicious. And then I just cubed the pumpkin into these small cubes. So first of all, when you're buying the pumpkin, ensure that it's lovely and nice and fresh and orange in color. There's lots of seeds on it, and even it should look fresh. Don't buy a very stale or like a whitish pumpkin. It should be more in red or orange in color. So now we're going to cover this with a lid, and I'm going to add water onto the lid. So this water will help to cook the pumpkin. Now we're going to keep the water on a low to medium flame like this till it starts to bubble. So you will see this bubbles. The minute you see the bubbles, then you lift the lid a bit with a pair of tongs like this. And then half of this hot water, you pour it into the pumpkin. This will cook the pumpkin nicely. The tongs are also called sanshi. So with the help of the sanshi, just, put the water in. Keep half of the water on the lid. And then we're going to cover, and every 2 or 3 minutes, just lift the lid up very carefully and stir in between. Now after 10 minutes, you'll find that on a very low flame that the water has completely evaporated. Like you can see, there's no water on the lid at all. So now our pumpkin is nice and cooked. So now to check it, I'm just going to take a spoon and I'm just going to check the pumpkin. You should be able to cut through it very, very easily. So just take one piece of the pumpkin. See, it comes off very easy. I think the pumpkin is cooked. So now we can nicely flavor our pumpkin bhaji or bhopla bhaji. So first, of course, I'm going to add salt to taste. Mix it really, really well. This is one of my favorite vegetables. It's just so delicious and it's so healthy too. Now I'm going to add about half a teaspoon of red chili powder, or you can add as per taste, as to how spicy you would like it. Then I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of my homemade goda masala. I will leave a link to my recipe. It's very simple. You can prepare your goda masala at home itself with no preservatives or anything, and it tastes really lovely. So I'll leave a link to my goda masala. You can make it at home and add it to lots of vegetables and lots of usars. I will leave a link to all those recipes. Now I'm just going to add about a tablespoon of gur or jaggery. So this is also as per taste. You can make it, as sweet as you like, or less sweet. I mean, we like it a mixture of sweet, spicy. So I'm using the regular, white gur that we use. Now mix everything really well together. Now I like a little bit of a gravy to this, but if you want it completely dry, then you can just start cooking this on a little bit of a high flame till all the liquid evaporates. But a little bit of gravy really tastes very, very nice. I like to have this with some puri. And now I'm just going to add some fresh grated coconut, and I'm just going to stir everything and just cook it for about a minute or two, and that's it, friends. And like I said, I like to have this with puri or even with some dal and rice or amti bhaat. It tastes amazing. And that's it, friends. Our simple pumpkin bhaji is all ready to give it a try. Is delicious matki chi usar, which is super simple and easy to make. Now here I've taken half a cup of matki, washed it thrice under water and soaked it in 1.5 cup of water for at least 8 to 10 hours. Now after 8 to 10 hours, I've drained out all the water and again covered and kept it for another 8 to 10 hours. And then you will see that it has sprouted. So now our matki is all ready to be used for making our usar. And I'll leave a link to some other matki recipes that I have also in the description box as well as the comment section below. So let's start with the recipe. So here I've taken a pan, I put it on a low heat and I've added 1 teaspoon of oil. Once the oil the oil is hot, I added half a teaspoon of mustard seeds, half a teaspoon of cumin seeds. Then I added some 5 curry leaves which I chopped up fine. Let the curry leaves also flavor the oil well, so let it fry in the oil along with the mustard and the cumin seeds or jeera. Next I took 2 cloves of garlic, chopped it fine, and I'm going to add that. So I have another matki usar. I'll leave a recipe for that too. Now I'm going to add half a teaspoon of asafoetida and half a teaspoon of turmeric. Then I'm also going to add half a teaspoon of kanda lasun masala. Now this is optional. If you get your hands on this masala, you can add it. Otherwise, you can skip it. And now I'm just going to add our sprouted matki. And now mix all of this really well together. This is very important for the recipe. We're not going to be adding any water to this recipe at all. And the other matki usal recipe that I have that doesn't have any lasun or anything in it. It's a very simple recipe. But this is a little bit different and it tastes delicious. So now mix everything really well so that all of the oil that is flavored gets mixed with the matki really well. And now we're going to cover and cook this for half a minute on a low to medium flame. Again, take out the lid. You'll see that a little bit of water is there on the lid. Add the water to the matki. So we're not adding any additional water. We're just adding the water or the steam that is there when we're cooking the matki. So repeat this process twice. In Marathi, it is called wafona. So we're basically steaming this. Now I'm going to flavor it with some salt to taste. Mix it the salt in well. Next I'm going to add half a teaspoon of red chili powder and 1 teaspoon of homemade goda masala or kala masala. I'll leave a link to how I prepare my kala masala and goda masala down in the description box below. And I'm also going to add 1 teaspoon of grated gur or jaggery. And now mix everything really well together. Now this bhaji is a little bit, as we call it, sursurit, that is a little crispy kind of bhaji. So now just cook this on a low to medium heat for another 1 minute, stirring in between and covering it and cooking it. And just, keep moving it around in the spoon around in the dish. And then you're just going to add 1 tablespoon of coriander. Mix the coriander in well and turn off your heat. And your matki usal is all ready. So I hope you like this recipe, guys. Do try it out.
In less than 10 minutes, one of the fastest recipes, quick, tasty. So let's go to the ingredients. Okay, these are the ingredients. First we'll go through the wet ingredients and then the various masalas. It's all things which you have in your kitchen cupboard. Okay, we start with some fresh fenugreek or methi leaves which have been soaked for 15 minutes in salt water and then thoroughly washed and then chopped. Because in methi there is a lot of dirt and grime which settles down, so you have to wash off the methi very well. Then I've taken 1 large onion and chopped it. Ginger garlic paste, half an inch of ginger and 3 cloves of garlic. This is 1 chili slit into 4. Then you require some fresh cream or malai and 2 tablespoons of ketchup. Now we come to the powders. You require some red Kashmiri chili powder, some turmeric or haldi powder, some garam masala, some coriander or dhania powder, some jeera or cumin powder. You need some whole cumin and sugar and salt, a cooking pan and a spatula. So let's get started with the recipe. Now first put on your gas and put in some oil, normal cooking vegetable oil. Let your oil heat up. Once your oil is heated up, you will first put in about 1 teaspoon of cumin seeds or jeera seeds. Once they begin to splutter, we will add in the green chilies. Once your green chilies get fried a little, we will add in our chopped onions. Saute everything well. Next we'll go in our ginger garlic paste. It's always better to use freshly made ginger garlic paste. Now we will start adding our spices. About half a teaspoon of turmeric or haldi powder, then some coriander powder. You can make coriander powder at home. All you need to do is roast your coriander and grind it in a mixie when it is a little cool. Similarly with cumin powder, jeera powder, roast it and then blend it in a blender. Next goes in some cumin powder, 1 teaspoon. 1 teaspoon of cumin powder and 1 teaspoon of coriander powder. We will cook this for some time. Next we'll go in our ketchup, tomato ketchup. This dish is my son Aryan's favorite dish. add some Kashmiri chili powder for color. All of this has to be cooked on a medium to slow flame, not on a high flame. Now we will add our methi leaves. In this way, you can get your kids to eat nice, dark green leafy vegetables which are very healthy for them. And for us too. Now, to allow the methi to cook, we shall add a little bit of salt according to your taste. Now we will cover this and let it cook for 5 minutes. Now we will check on our methi. What is the salt done? The salt has actually left some water out of the methi and has let the methi cook. After about another 2 minutes, you will notice that everything has come together very well. Now we will add a pinch of sugar and some fresh cream. Mix everything together. A pinch of garam masala. And again, let it cook for another 1 minute on slow flame. Let us check again on the bhaji, and now you can see everything has come together very nicely. And now just keep it closed, turn off your gas and leave it for another 1 minute to cook.
Start.
And here it is. Your methi malai is ready. Now you can also add some green peas, boiled green peas, or some paneer. My son doesn't like green peas in this vegetable, so I leave it plain. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up and do subscribe to my channel. Once you've subscribed, click the bell so every time I upload a new video, you'll be the first one to know. Until next time, this is Akshata signing off. Bye.